Hey everyone, welcome to the Iceberg Lounge. I'm your host, Thomas Single. And on today's show, we will be reviewing WWE Royal Rumble 2021. But before that, let's go ahead and take a break, and we will be right back with the first match. And we're back. So, the first match happened on the pre-show, and it was surprising considering who was in it. It was Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler going up against Asuka and Charlotte Flair in a tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. The match was actually really good, even though both these teams are kind of just throw-together teams. It was real good. Nia and Shayna look good as a team. Asuka and Flair look good as a team. I don't know. I kind of want them to have names. Like, tag teams should have tag team names. Team names. But, that's just me. But, surprisingly, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeated Asuka and Charlotte Flair for the Tag Team Championships in 10 minutes and 30 seconds, thanks to a distraction and interference from Ric Flair and Lacey Evans. So this, I guess, will now split off into Charlotte Flair now solely feuding with Lacey Evans and her father, where Asuka is probably gonna split off to do her own thing, and Nia and Shayna can, I guess, be ahead of the tag division, and I guess continue their new reign. This is their second reign as a tag team. Now, once we get out of the pre-show, we get into the main pay-per-view, and it surprised me at first, to be honest, when they announced this was the first match, but after what happened, I'm glad it was the first match, because it was kind of trash. It was Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship versus Goldberg, and this match is the shortest match on the card. And you're like, okay, well, that must mean Goldberg won. No. Even though this was a short match, Drew McIntyre won, which was the right decision I feel that they could have done. The bad part about it was the match was literally just them doing their finishing moves. That's it. For, less than 3 minutes, let's just hit a bunch of finishers and go from there. The entrances for both superstars were probably longer than the actual match. McIntyre, like I said, defeated Goldberg, retained the championship at 2 minutes and 32 seconds. But after the match, you see Goldberg get up and said, "You passed the test, you deserve it." And then they kind of hugged it out in the ring. But here's the thing, pass what test? And what did he deserve? This made no sense at all. I'm just glad that they gave Drew the W, and now we can all move past another Goldberg match. Not saying Goldberg's bad, but he can barely work now. He literally came out in Brock Lesnar, to me, style trunks, shorts, MMA shorts. And, you looked at it and it was like, okay, so that looks like Brock Lesnar. So, that's, I guess, his new look now. Don't know if he'll be back for Mania, or what, but we move on. So, the third match on this card was a singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. it was Sasha Banks, the champion, defending against Carmella, accompanied by Reginald. Honestly, this was my first time seeing the new Carmella character with Reginald, because I'm just not interested in WWE's product right now. Like, I watch kind of the YouTube reviews of it that they put the different clips on their channel. But besides that, I don't watch the shows. They just don't interest me anymore. I watch more AEW than anything, more New Japan than anything, more Impact Wrestling than anything. It's just more interesting products out there than WWE. But on that note, I do enjoy Carmella's new character. I think eventually Carmella will win the SmackDown Women's Championship or another Women's Championship at some point with this character. I enjoy Reginald. Very good. I would consider him help/manager. They all told a good story. But all in all, Sasha Banks defeated Carmella by submission in 10 minutes and 25 seconds. And we move on to the first Rumble match. So the first Rumble match of the card, I thought it was going to be the men's first, but it was the 30-woman Royal Rumble match, and the winner gets a women's championship match at WrestleMania 37. And I'll just go over the first two that were in there. Okay, so the first two that were in there was Bayley came out at number 1. Naomi came out at number 2. But I'm going to go over the surprise entrance of it and then who ended up winning. So, surprise entrant came out at number 8. It was Jillian Hall, who we haven't seen in a while. Used to be associated with JBL. Then she was like Divas Champ for like a second. She's back now. She came out singing her entrance music like she used to. She teamed up with Billie Kay, who at this point was trying to team up with everyone, and everyone kept saying no to her, except for Jillian. And I thought a team of Jillian Hall and Billie Kay would be a great comedic tag team for the women's division. But we'll see if she continues to come back or not. Then, 2 spots later at 10, you have Victoria. Victoria returns to the WWE in this match. I was pumped to see Victoria back. Wasn't really expecting her. She came in, handled her business, still looked like she could go. Like, it made me want her to be like, look, sign a contract, come back, and, like, really be in a true women's division that you should have been in. Another surprise entrant this time was Santana Garrett from NXT. She surprised me a lot. She's a former NWA women's champion. She does a great job, and I can see a great future for her, and hopefully they'll push her since they put her in here. We go down a few more spots, and at number 17 we have Tori Wilson, the Hall of Famer. I was sad though that she did not bring her dog, but she ended up coming in at number 17 and was eliminated by Shayna Baszler. Santana Garrett was eliminated by Rhea Ripley. Victoria was eliminated by Shayna Baszler. And Jillian was eliminated by Billie Kay. So, go down a few more, and we had the return of Alicia Fox, who came in at number 21. And She didn't win the Rumble, but good news. She defeated R-Truth during the match to become a 24/7 champion. But then she was then thrown out by Mandy Rose. And not Mandy Rose, but Alicia Fox then loses the 24/7 championship back to R-Truth. And R-Truth goes and runs away and disappears like he can do real well. And then that was the end of all like the surprise entrance for me when it comes to the Women's Royal Rumble match. But now let's talk about the winner. The winner, it was down to the final three. It was Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Charlotte Flair. Basically, Charlotte was representing Raw, Bianca SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley NXT. I thought it was a good final three. You had Charlotte story where she could have become the first woman to win back-to-back Rumbles. You had Bianca Belair, who had the story of her coming up. They did a WWE documentary on her, little short documentary on her that aired before it, so they were kind of pushing her. Then you had Rhea Ripley, who last year was NXT Women's Champion going into Mania, and so you kind of had this feud between her and Charlotte still going around. And it ended up Bianca and Ripley teamed up to eliminate Flair, which was a cool story. And then it ended up being Bianca and Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair won. She now moves on to WrestleMania and gets a guaranteed shot at the Women's Championship. She won, and the match lasted 58 minutes and 50 seconds. So congratulations to Bianca Belair. And now, later on, I don't know if she'll show up on Raw or SmackDown or even NXT, but we will, I guess, find out soon enough which women's championship she wants to go for. Up next is the last man standing match for the WWE Universal Championship. I would say this match, if we take out both Rumbles, this match was the match of the night. Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens. Roman obviously having Paul Heyman in his corner. This match was very good. A lot of people are now kind of pointing out where WWE kind of copied AEW with the go-kart angle or gimmick that happened, which that could have been it, could have not been. Probably was, though. But Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens went all out. It really reminded me of Dwayne Johnson and Mick Foley's matches that they used to have. I believe they had a last man standing match, and it kind of reminded me of that match a little bit. Was it as good as Dwayne and Foley's? No, but it did remind me of it, and I really enjoyed this match. Roman was a great heel. Finally, he put down Kevin Owens for the 10 count, retained the Universal Championship, and now moves on and is still head of the table. And he won in 24 minutes and 54 seconds with technically the move that finally knocked out Kevin Owens was a guillotine choke, which seeing Roman Reigns do that he just makes the move look so much more dangerous. Alright, so now we're in the main event, which is the 30-man Royal Rumble match for a World Championship match at WrestleMania 37. And so we're going to go down and we're going to go through some of the surprise entrants for this year's Men's Rumble and go from there. But first off, number 1 and number 2. Number 1 was Edge. Number 2 was Randy Orton. They ended up just brawling all over the outside, and to the point to where Randy Orton looked like he got injured and got carried off into the back while Edge stayed out there. So I would say Edge won that encounter. But if we scroll down, the first surprise entrant for me came in at number 8, and it was Carlito. Yes, Carlito, Caribbean Cool, the apple spitting heel, came out, and I popped because he was supposed to be on Raw's Legends Night, and I think there were some travel issues or something that kept him from it. It was nice seeing him back. He looked amazing, like he should sign a contract right now with somebody in the national kind of eye, because he looks like a star. He ended up getting eliminated by Elias, though, later on. The next surprise entrant would be from NXT. It's Damian Priest. They made Damian Priest look like a star in the Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Priest didn't get called up to the main roster, but if he doesn't, I think he would be NXT champion soon. He would have to be. He ended up getting eliminated, though, by Bobby Lashley. The next surprise entrant was Kane. Kane came back, and he kind of had a little moment with Daniel Bryan with a hug it out moment, but he ended up getting eliminated by Damian Priest, which was a big elimination for Priest. And so up next would be Hurricane Helms. Yes, the Hurricane returned at number 23. It was nice to see the Hurricane. Always some good comic relief. He's very good. I still think he could go today. I don't know if he's at a cruiserweight weight class, but it would be nice to see him somewhere doing something, because I think he still has years left in him. But he ended up being eliminated by Big E and Bobby Lashley. And then coming out at number 24 was, I would say, the biggest surprise of the night. Christian returns. Christian came out, his music came on. I freaked out. I was like, what? He's back? Because I thought he was injured, and that's why he had to retire. But he came back, looked amazing. Him and Edge had a moment where it's just like they're both back when everyone thought they wouldn't be. It was just beautiful. You could see Edge like tearing up and was just like so happy. And it just makes me sad because this moment would have been so much better, so much bigger if there was an actual audience there. And it just makes me sad that there wasn't a live crowd watching that. Number 30 ended up being Braun Strowman. And so now you are down to the... Seth Rollins returned. And you had this interesting moment where it was literally down to Edge and Rollins. And you're like, man, this is actually a dream match that I want to see eventually is Edge versus Seth Rollins. Yes, the ultimate opportunist versus the person who did the heist at a WrestleMania with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, that would be amazing. And for years now, they've been talking about that being a dream match, and no one thought that would be able to happen, but now it could. Edge ended up throwing Seth Rollins over the top, and he was the last person in the ring. Well, you thought he was. You turn around, RKO out of nowhere. Randy Orton is back. He never was eliminated. And eventually, Edge threw Randy Orton over the top rope and became the winner of this year's Royal Rumble match. And now he gets a shot at a world title after being forcibly retired due to a neck injury for years. He comes back after being approved to be able to wrestle again last year at last year's Rumble out of nowhere. And then a year later, from his return, coming back, starting at number 1, winning the Rumble from number 1, and now getting a shot in the main event of WrestleMania. This is such a great story. This could be Edge's kind of like last run in the company, and I think they're writing the story very well. I really enjoyed this year's Rumbles, both of them. I think both of them are great choices for winners. I enjoyed the Royal Rumble overall. I didn't really have an issue with any of the matches besides maybe Drew McIntyre and Goldberg, but the rest of them were good quality. I would suggest anyone who hasn't watched it, go back and watch it. It was a very good show. But we're going to go ahead and end it there. Thank y'all for listening to this episode of the Iceberg Lounge. And don't forget to check out linktr.ee/trji for all the links to the different places you can get the podcast, for the YouTube channel, for the Twitch channel, for the Real Music Radio Spotify exclusive playlist of amazing music. Go check all that out. Also has other social medias of mine on there. Don't forget, if you want to support the Iceberg Lounge, go to patreon.com/trji. And for $1 a month, you get all my content first before anyone else. And it helps support making the Iceberg Lounge the best podcast it can be. But thank y'all again for listening. Know God loves you, and I love you. And always remember, all to God. See y'all in the next one.